Hello, Twitch. You want to work for me, camera? There we go. Hi, Twitch. Hi, Twitch. Hopefully we're having a lovely Sunday. Hopefully my computer wants to work for me. Please. We're actually recording tonight, so that's a good bonus. I think we're going to close out Discord tonight because we don't need that to run. We don't need you to run anymore. Okay. Hey, Lynn J. Happy to see you in today. We're gonna get started with coffee as usual here. We've already got our beef a-cooking back here. Nice big 3.5, almost 4-pound roast here. I'm going to reverse sear that after it's considered done. And, well, I can take it out right now. Right now it would probably be fine. That changed quickly for me. Start by wetting our filter here. This water isn't quite up to temp yet this morning, or this evening. Hopefully everyone's having a lovely start to their weekend here. I've had a pretty good start to mine. Or finish to your weekend. Weekend's already over, I don't... Turn on scale. Still not up to 10. Get some Stream Raiders going. We've been having trouble with this current map. I tried a different strategy this time. I sort of put myself with nothing to the back of myself and hope the rest of you build your army up back behind me, and we'll just move our way forward here. Maybe get the battle from all three sides at once, or rather, I don't know. There we go, there's our water. Let's save some of my water tonight for bread. not just my mug. It's quite amazing how much this burps from just an initial short pour of water in there. Oops, a little bit over on my pour there. I immediately go back here. That's why this is here. That's why this is here. Got our water set for our yeast here in a couple of minutes. Happy Sunday, folks. Welcome in. So, it's 4:30 right now. I'm going to pull that out around 6-ish. So that's going to continue cooking there. For anyone that's not in the Discord, what we have here is a beef sirloin tips roast, around 3.6 something pounds. That is in a bag with a stick of butter, some olive oil, some thyme, a bay leaf, salt and pepper. Pretty simple. That has been cooking at 135 degrees, precisely 135 degrees, since about 10ish today. So that's just the scoop on the beef. On other things here, we have our preserved lemons still looking lovely. Giving those a toss every once in a while, making sure they're all keeping coated. And you can see that liquid is definitely having some micro reaction going on there. And throw those in the fridge here in another week or two. On to bread. So we got some hot water here. Let's see how hot we are still. That's actually pretty homey for our yeast. That was only 130-ish. Add a little half and half in there. Add a pinch of flour. And yeast is in the freezer. I might just start keeping my yeast in the freezer. I mean, normally I had like a small container of it out, and then the majority of it in the freezer to keep nice for longer. Might just leave it all in the freezer. So we got Ghost Pines for our wine a little bit later tonight. Cabernet Sauvignon. And it's sort of interesting, they're showing the actual percentages from the actual counties. It's unusual because normally they want to claim like one specific thing. And you'll see a number of them like put that info on the back, but on the label itself that's not usual. 2018 Winemaker's Blend, which doesn't really mean much. Oh, it's a martini wine. So it's a martini wine that they're hiding the name Martini on, which does not give me great hopes. But they have still put it on there decently enough that I don't think it's probably junk. It's probably just not creme de la creme. Yeah, it's a little far down for usual. That's about right. Now we need bread. Now we need flour. Bread flour. salt. I'm gonna do some honey in them tonight. If I can find where my... Boo! Hey, Darth. Welcome in. I guess I don't have a command for that right now. See? But the cuisine doesn't think that. Okay, it's time for you to wake up. Moved the spoon and all of a sudden it started popping up. Maybe it didn't like the spoon in there for some reason. Sort of upset my transitions changed. I used to have a nice transition that would move and scale things, and now it's just sort of fading out right now. I don't even remember how you set them. Basil. I think this one's going to be a tough one for us, folks. Yeah, I'm going to freeze. You can do it, computer. Oh my god, the game just stopped. Like, the program literally, yeah. Yeah, we split up right away. I don't know if this is going to be a good plan. Nope. Nope. Boo. Ugh. I'm sorry. Come on. You can do it, game. Well, now we're all seeing why we're doing a computer upgrade. Why is this taking so much? Why are my resources being so hogged? Okay, I did that once. You want me to do it again? There's once more. Here, let's do it again. Do I get them every time I do this? Let's just leave it here and see if it changes to the next screen in the background. You can't hardly see it there, but you can maybe see it on the screen even better. The background's there still. Yeah, computer's not happy. Why? Oh, I love those. Reloading the Stream Raiders here, folks. Hopefully we can get that back up and running here shortly. Come on, computer. Why are you doing this to me, computer? Just close. And Stream Raiders still hasn't loaded, by the way, folks. Oh, it's all still jittery as all. The 10th, folks, we will have new computer stuff. Well, the 10th I will get it. What do we got for the calendar coming up here? Maybe next Friday we'll have a new computer stream. Maybe. But the new tip goal down here is because I literally just spent $600 on this machine. So, if you would so graciously like to help me pay for that, it would be appreciated. It's not a full computer, it's just an upgrade for this one. Although it is a considerable upgrade. I'll be doubling the amount of RAM, doubling the computing power, and quadrupling the threads on the CPU, so that should help things out a little bit. So while we're waiting on Stream Raiders to reload, figure I might as well get this dough going. Well, who doesn't find puppies in a box appealing? Oh, unadopted. Almost done loading Stream Raiders. We're back to almost a map. Let's get Stream Raiders going again. I'm gonna put my tank out there in the center. Yeah. See what we get in 30 minutes. Need a bit more flour on this counter for this. So I'm gonna grab some AP flour. Music, why'd you stop? Because the computer doesn't have power for it. Gotta keep the browser on everything at once. Alright, we're gonna leave it with that. A bit stickier than I wanted it tonight, but it'll work for tonight's dough. We'll let that proof just like that. Coffee. I'm gonna dare say that I made that coffee too sweet. It's like wondering for a second where the other measuring cup was, and then I realized it's still in the fridge with the leftover coffee topping. Taters. Get the taters ready. Taters all cut up. Add some water on top of those. Cold water. We got that, we got that. Now we gotta make our... Oh, we got two sauces to make actually tonight. I think we'll use this one to make the bechamel. I'm starting now into the green bean bake or green bean casserole. I am making what is the substitute for the traditional cream of mushroom. We're not doing cream of mushroom. We're doing a bechamel with some flavorings and some herbs and skipping the mushrooms itself. Grab some flour for our butter. Make the proper brew here. I think I literally melted this pan in my trailer. Like, this pan is not flat on the bottom anymore. I don't know if we can see that in the stream or not, but it's got like a center to it that's like that, but it rests like, I don't know, hard to show on stream, but it is very much not a flat bottom pan. Okay, add about a tablespoon of flour in there. Add in some chicken stock, just a cube or two. And let's do two. Use frozen green beans for this. None of those disgusting canned green beans that you guys made me use for an ingredient challenge. Yeah. Focus, camera. Can't remember if that's my original camera or not. I know I replaced the mount on that camera. Wow, that looks like a hot mess. Hair's actually doing pretty good lately, but not looking too good tonight. Been mostly happy with my spur of the moment decision to hack about half of it off, because it's now all relatively the same thickness. I lost all of that initial growth thinning out to the tip of it. Now we'll add some dairy. We got this leftover heavy cream. That'll go well in there. We'll fill that up with some water too. Clean the last of those lovely dairy solids out of there too. Or at least as much as I can. This, without question, will thicken up here shortly. If the camera wants to stay fucking focused. We'll add some seasoning and flavoring in there, though. Starting with some salt, of course. Heavy dose of that. Some MSG in there. I mean, after all, MSG is the major thing we're really adding here with the cream of mushroom. It's like cream and MSG. Onion powder, garlic powder. Hint of cayenne. I'm gonna add some herbage in there. Do a little fresh oregano, a little fresh thyme, freeze-dried thyme. Sorry, freeze-dried oregano, freeze-dried thyme. We'll add those towards the end though. Yeah, I'm not too happy with computer right now. Got 10 minutes to get units on the battlefield for our next Stream Raiders battle. And we're hoping this is going to heat up at some point. We can shred some cheddar while we're waiting. Shred some cheddar. I think that's probably enough. We can bag up the rest of this and throw that back in the fridge for something else. Surprised this hasn't thickened up more. It's right on the edge of a boil, and it just, the flour hasn't done a whole lot yet. I can definitely smell it in there though. It actually smells quite nice right now. Take our green beans, add them to a bowl. We'll add our cheese in with the beans. Turn the oven on to 350 for baking our green bean bake. I actually wish this was thicker. I'm surprised it's this thin and at a boil. I mean, what did I added a... Yeah, I'm surprised that's not thicker. That's only like, at most 2 cups of liquid with a tablespoon of flour. Wow. We gotta let that cook for a little bit, bring out that those flavors that we don't want out of it. In other words, that flour flavor. Meanwhile, let's make a topping for this. Because, I mean, I'm not going to go traditional with the topping here either. It could be just the tablespoon of flour I grabbed didn't have any protein in it. I mean, it had some, but not enough. Remember these? Still got these. Probably enough for this project. Just don't want big bunches and big clumps in there. See if we have to add more chives here or not. I think we might need some more chives for this. Yeah, we're gonna do some more chives for that. Battle first. Let's hope they go towards the center. Sauteing shredded cabbage. Come on, game. You can do it. Come on, let's go, program. Maybe 5,000 clicks will make it work. Nice. Looks like most of us are heading towards that. High damage area. Keep them all in the center there. Why am I hearing double audio? Be right back. Actually. That is so weird. Where am I getting that audio from? Oh, that makes sense. Hopefully you're getting audio. Let's see here. There we go. For some reason it was set on playing the audio out of my screen. What? I thought we had that one. Aww. And it's going to take a half an hour to restart again. Click. 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 Yeah, this camera is just too much for this computer. Ooh. Almost forgot about you. Does that help? It's probably keeping it active anyways. There we go. My Centurion, and I'm going to start him over here. Since most of our mobs seem to be like this, I'm going to, once I get controls back, I can do things. Come on, game. Still hasn't even registered that I placed my unit there, much less giving me other options. There we go. We'll see how we do this time. Can we possibly pass this map? This is the 4th time we have played it, I think. 5th time? 4th time? We've played this map a lot now. I'd like to move on. So I'm gonna chop some more chives for in here. I turned off the temperature on the bechamel or the cream sauce or what have you. I mean, a lot of the times this is my only option for buying chives, but I cannot stand these bubble packs of chives. It's like, how can we pack this to make it more annoying for you to cut? We're gonna fold all of them in half. Put them in a plastic container that you're not gonna recycle. They're even so good at growing them these days that I think they intermix the fields for their batches, and you end up with this mix of new and old ones in there. That's Spirit Lin J. We need that for this map. That is the spirit. If there's any really big pieces, I'm still giving them a break in half at this point, but pretty well happy with that breakup of stuff for the top. And some fresh Parmesan with that as well. It's not really fresh Parmesan, but freshly grated. There's our topping for our green bean bake. Alright, so we have our thickened, somewhat cooling sauce, or replacement for our cream of mushroom here. You can blanch the green beans should you choose. We're going to bake them, so I'm not too worried about them getting up to proper temp. They will be properly cooked once done. And the reason that I wanted the sauce thick is because green beans are going to release moisture, if only because they're got crystals, ice crystals on the outside of them, but the veggies will release moisture too. So we don't want a ton of liquid in here. I actually thought about adding bacon to this, but I thought it was maybe a bit too much. Already got it out. How convenient. I'll finish off this package of sour cream from the other night. Okay. Into baking vessel. wow. Isn't that cute? I just noticed I updated the slideshow in the top corner, and it's wrong size now. At least it's new pictures. I'll deal with that off stream. And it also is apparent that although I fixed the Chef JT logo down in the bottom corner down here, far corner, where I'm pointing, that goes through my different socials, it's not fixed on other scenes. Got some work to do. So now we're going to put our topping over everything. I didn't add my other herbs in there. Oh well, oopsies. There was supposed to be some more thyme and oregano in there, but no, they won't be. No, there won't be. Okay, that's set. Potatoes are about ready to be set. What time we getting to be here? Awesome, we're pretty much right on time for things here tonight. I am going to actually turn off the immersion circulator. That still had about 15 minutes still to go for its full prep time, cook time. But I'm just gonna let it sit there in the hot water for these last couple of minutes while we work on a couple other things. Allow it to slowly come down from that a little bit. We're gonna want it slightly lower than our serving temp for searing it, because it's going to reheat it some. And clean up the edges of our plate here, which it's probably going to bubble over anyways, but at least it'll be clean going in. Grab ourselves some parchment. That's ready for our 350 degree oven. At least I think that's how it's baked. 350 sounds about right. Okay, so we're good with that. I am now going to turn on our potatoes, which is sort of starting our timer for finishing things here. Actually, no, I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. We're going to do the rolls before I start the potatoes. See how our rolls are poofing up. Those are poofing up. Chop these into 4. Compared to the last times I've done this recipe, we're working with whole wheat flour tonight. That's also why I added a bit more honey in there. So we're got a bit more color to them, a bit browner in color, a little bit more weedy looking than usual. Because normally I just use AP flour for this recipe. Same as always, just sort of pulling the dry outside taut and tucking in the cut section. And then rolling them into a ball. Music, where art thou? I'm doing fine, Maz. The world is conspiring against, but I am fine. I am well, actually. How about yourself tonight, Maz? Welcome in. Happy to see your smiling face yet again. Yeah, I think we're going to have to have a clean and break here too before we start the potatoes. Before we start the countdown to the finishing and everything here tonight. Okay, cleanup time. What else we got? The toss here. That needs to be rinsed out and returned. $2 bottle return on these babies. I'll toss this in the trash, be right back. Ah, I'm over here, camera. Not over there. What's over there? Come over here. Come over here. Over here. Over here. What are you seeing elsewhere? You're looking at me here. It just likes the shades, apparently. Yeah. Hi there, camera. Probably giving myself more close-ups trying to figure out what's going on with that camera than the entire time I did with the other camera. So I'm going to do a quick little cleanup here of the containers while we're Got 10 minutes on our next string meters battle here. So we're going to take the beef out now. Allow that to rest a minute or two before we even get into trying to deal with all of it. Yeah, I got a couple other things I need to do here. I'm trying to line everything up so we're ready with everything all at the same time tonight. It's not something I usually worry about too much, but I am tonight for some reason. Lasted that bottle a half and half. Oh, hey, what do you know? I got another bottle half and half. It's almost like I drink coffee or something. So we got butter and dairy for our taters. I'm going to melt that so that's warm and ready for our next project. So here's our beef. It's not looking too pretty right now, is it? Got that. We gotta use this, I guess. That's all I got for pans. It's looking a little gray on the outside, but I promise you, that is deliciousness. You can see little hints of pink there. And that's because the inside of that is gorgeous. I assure you. We're actually going to dry that off. I'm pulling all the moisture off of this because that's just going to hinder us from getting a good sear on it when I put it in the pan here in a bit. I'm also just still allowing this to cool down a bit. This deliciousness is probably done for, but we'll see if I can't work some magic here. It's also been realized by me that I need to get this in the oven because we have to raise the temperature. I forgot about these. So we gotta cook this first. So that's going into the oven. 350, 40 minutes. But that does sort of start our timer. So what's going to happen here is we got 40 minutes of cooking our green bean casserole. About 20 minutes into that, we're going to start our potatoes. The rolls need to be, that gives us about 20 minutes to raise the temperature up to 400 for the rolls and give the rolls about 10 minutes to bake. And gives us time to sear our meat and allow it to rest a second time. But right now I think it's time for me to have a glass of wine. And I know I put this glass away dirty the other night, so we're gonna have to give this a rinse out. It's unusual for me. I don't usually put things away but dirty, but wine and alcohol glasses, maybe that one exception for me that I tend to do. I mean, after all, it's alcohol. It's gonna kill everything in it, isn't it? Ooh, our battle's ready. Did I say that already and forget it? Yeah, that's another one for bacon that makes it better than chocolate in my mind. You can put bacon with green beans, and it makes the green beans better. I mean, after all, you probably put chocolate with green beans, but I doubt the chocolate's gonna make it better. Let's see if we can't do this battle without breaking my PC. Come on. You can do it, game. Darth. Come on, game. Akami is a beginning chef, is a beginning cook. They are the beginning levels of an apprentice in a old school kitchen, which is the first level of viewership. And it's just, you get a higher rank the more you watch the stream. There's a list of all the ranks on the Discord in the info section. We finally won it! Linjay got us those kills. Forget what. Got us the assists. It's giving you both the same logo for some reason. Come on, game. Music's not freeing up enough. That's not enough. Victory. Darth getting that gold. Darth, I actually use... They actually have a application for the captains where the game will run in a window separate from your browser. and that's what I'm using to run it because it allows me to capture the image much easier for OBS. So it's not like I have a refresh button up there at the top. It's either closing the whole program out and reloading the program, or... Ooh, I got some goodies too. They're going to take me half an hour to collect though, so we'll wait till after stream for those. It hasn't even loaded that we won this one yet. I hope we don't have to do this one again. Okay, game, I know. I got some scrolls. Let's move on. Please work for me, program. Nice, Darth. Nice, Darth. Let's try this. It worked last time, sort of. Turn the music off for a second. Nope, that didn't do it. This is delaying me from a whole bunch of stuff. Come on, let's go, game. I'm just going to close the program and force close it. It's forcing me to go to Task Manager to get it to close. I'm just astonished. I mean, I'm sitting here at just like constantly at 100% CPU. Like this entire stream. I think we're just going to have to cancel Stream Raiders for the rest of the evening here, folks. It's not my router, Maz. It's the computer is just so... My computer is literally at 100% CPU right now. It's sitting there with a bright red box around it saying 100% CPU. And a vast majority of it is OBS, and I think it's taking a heck of a lot more software power to encode this new camera than the old one did. Hey HUD, welcome in! Happy to see ya. Welcome, welcome. So I think it's time to get started and searing our meat. I think this sauce is probably, well, maybe we can save that. Let's... Probably got too much fat in it, but we'll see what we got. But over here on the main big pan here, we need some more flameage under there. And we need some oil in here. What you're seeing there on the cutting board is our roast for the evening. Push the time off of this that we find there. That I have already cooked to 135 sous vide. And so this is perfectly medium rare in the inside right now. It's just sort of gray on the outside because it hasn't had a good sear yet. No, Maz, it's just, I mean, I don't know why I opened that. That's not what I wanted. But when I open up Task Manager, you look up under CPU at the top there, it says, it's in red, and it says 100%, and it just stays there. And it's because it's OBS, and the browser options for OBS, not my browser itself, are just hogging everything. You have to consider this computer, when I took this and cleaned this up, I made sure I'm trying to update BIOS the other night. The latest update for the BIOS on this computer I'm using right now was in 2012. It was for Vista and XP. It's not even designed to run on Windows 10. It was very much my old PC from when I upgraded. And so when I'm talking about a $600 upgrade, that's not even to like top of the line. I mean, the motherboard and memory I'm getting is pretty up there. But the CPU coolers, it's an Octua, but it's a run-of-the-mill. It's not an expensive one. And the power supply is not a high-end power supply either. So we're working on heating up that pan right there so it's nice and smoky. And we're just gonna get a nice proper sear on all the four corners, or on all the 6 sides to our piece here. We're also going to put these potatoes on the heat now. Pinch of salt in with them. Cover on. Starting to get smoky over here. Starting to get smoky. We'll start with this end here. I turn the fan on high here now. Nice dark sear on that now. Ooh, I can almost smell the fruit right off of that. Ooh, that's gonna be yummy. I'm gonna give that a moment to aerate. We gotta move our meat. I hope this turns out as amazing as it's looking like it's going to. This is gonna be, the cut into this is gonna be, Thank you for that tip, Lin J. Thank you for helping me out with the computer needs. Nice, beautiful, even dark color on the outside. It's really amazing me how well that's cleaning up on the outside. Such a nice dark brown. Nice, beautiful, dark wine there. Ooh. Bit of acidity, bit of red fruit there. Now I'm just spot cooking it where I felt it needed a bit more color in places. And there's our steak for tonight. That's sort of the bottom, there's the top. Turn the heat off of that incredibly hot pan. Slap that with this one. Yes. Putting that on top of all that other metal is going to cool that down quite a bit. So I think we need some photos just of this. Like this. Why don't I have... Oh, I don't have some of my lights on tonight. Like, why is it so dark? I'm gonna let this sit for another couple of minutes before I break into this. But happy with this so far. Maybe a bit early with the meat, but in fact, I think I'm gonna wrap it in a bit of foil. Well, it's the loin. It's not the tenderloin. The loin is like the eye of the pork chop, or the eye of the rib chop that I'll be cooking tomorrow night. And so it's not the tenderloin. Tenderloin's considerably smaller, even on a beef piece of cattle. It's not quite the same cut. This is like a pork loin. If you buy a pork loin in the store, you got that relatively thick. It's just beef. Our rolls have proofed to the point that they're touching now nicely for the most part. And those will definitely touch by the time they're done. Let's get an egg wash on those. While we got a minute here, we're waiting on our green bean bake. Actually, a better way of explaining it is if you look at a T-bone, you look at that nice big steak of a T-bone, the big side, this is the big side of that T-bone, that big hunk of meat on there. The other side of that T-bone, that's the fillet, that smaller piece that's a bit tenderer. So it's just the other side of the T-bone from where you're thinking. Nine minutes left on her. Take a look at our green bean casserole, see if it's a mess or... That's actually looking pretty tasty back there. I think I'm going to take a couple minute break here since we're just waiting on stuff to cook through. We'll come back here in, say, about 5 minutes and wrap things up.
It's the newest, most exciting sound in town. It's a General Electric blender that's going around. Completely new from base to lid. Take it apart, see what they did. The non-skid base is the lowest you'll ever see.
The decanter has a 36-ounce blending capacity.
The non-spill lid is really smart. For blending convenience, it comes apart. Add additional ingredients, if you will. Look no splash splash, see no spill. Put them all together and you know it's true. The General Electric blender is best for you. If you want to know another reason why,
It's only 10 and 1/2 inches high.
stores easily on the counter or on a shelf. There's 1,000 things you can make yourself.
Make party spreads.
Great cabbage heads, blend the meatloaf for a family of 8. Make ice-cold drinks you'll appreciate. Now's the time for you to buy the General Electric blender.
Did he say only 10 and 1/2 inches high?
Folks, why do you eat Wheaties?
We like it.
But did you know it's always been whole wheat with all the bran, and bran is one of nature's best sources of food fiber.
That's news to us.
Wheaties breakfast this morning?
Sure, it helps me feel fit.
But do you know Wheaties has bran fiber your body may need?
That's news to me.
Why Wheaties?
Oh, we love the taste.
I have for years. But do you know for years you've been getting something extra for your diet? Bran fiber?
Well, that's news to me.
Wheaties. It's brand news.
If you've ever been to Venice, you remember the gondolas and the picturesque waterways. And you remember the food, too. Superb food, prepared with that very special Italian touch. The same special Italian touch that Chef Boyardee sauce with meat can give to your meals over here. Because the recipe for this tangy sauce has been brought over from Italy by this famous Italian chef. Chef Boyardee sauce with meat is made from juicy, sun-ripened tomatoes and tender, quality beef, simmered in a spicy sauce that makes a rice and cheese loaf, a casserole, or a spaghetti dish a real Italian-style dish. So when you'd like to add that special Italian touch to your dinner, do it with Chef Boyardee sauce with meat. Try Chef Boyardee sauce with mushrooms, too. Both are prepared from the chef's own Italian recipe.
Next week, George and Gracie will be brought to you by Carnation.
Hiya, happy boy. Wish you'd been with me today. We saw a great dog show, some beautiful dogs. There was the handsomest poodle, a real beauty, an international champion. His owner gave me some good advice.
There are many dog foods on the market, but the Carnation Company makes the best. It's called Friskies, and it's quality all the way through.
You should have seen the champion collie. He won everything in sight. The handler told me.
A very important part of this champion's diet is meat. That's why we feed him Friskies. The principal ingredient is lean red horse meat, the best you can buy.
So happy, you're getting real quality, and you're going to get your Friskies right now.
Friskies is prepared to the high standards of Carnation Company and guarantees prime-grade nourishment.
What? Keeping the coffee in the icebox?
Yes, Mr. Jones, it's a new kind of coffee, roasted by a new secret process. Hence, this new none such coffee has a different flavor, a flavor preserved by vacuum packing, the flavor retained by refrigeration after the jar has been opened. Just taste it. You can't miss that delicate aroma, that clean, mellow taste. Yes, in cooking, the way to a man's heart is most of all through the coffee pot. In every jar, you'll find 3 special pointers, valuable in all methods of making coffee. Try new none such coffee now. Use half the jar. If not 100% satisfied, get all your money back from your grocer without argument. Special for movie week, only 28 cents a pound, plus 3 cents refundable deposit on the jar.
Now, a new creation from Seal Test. Cottage cheese in ready-to-serve portions. Handy envelopes bring you brand new convenience and ease. Zip, it's open, quick and neat. Just the amount you need, the easy way to serve cottage cheese. The rest stays moist and creamy. Ready for next time.
Are they handy? Cottage cheese in ready-to-serve portions.
So easy to use, quick, and no bother at all.
The rest stays really fresh, moist, and creamy.
Yes, serving cottage cheese was never as easy as this. Seal Test's new square package with handy, ready-to-serve portions. Zip, it's open. Simple as can be. The rest stays moist and creamy fresh. You'll love Seal Test cottage cheese in new, ready-to-serve portions. Get some soon.
3, 2, 1, blast off. She's up. Come in ideal countdown control. Ready for second launching.
Atlas moving into position.
Fuel her up.
All set.
Count down.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! There she goes!
Yes, you can be in command of your own ideal countdown. It's a real electronic missile base. You sit at the controls and move missiles into place. You count down. You blast off. You track the flight. The ideal countdown comes complete with moon missile and lunar probe, as well as a giant atlas. Get your electronic ideal countdown now, wherever good toys are sold.
It's a wonderful toy. It's ideal.
When you have a Labatt's, you have an adventure. Canadian Light. That's Labatt's. It's a great new taste in beer. Enjoy import quality at USA prices. Have an adventure. Have a Labatt's.
Alexis Lachine wines are full of flavor. Alexis Lachine wines are dry. Alexis Lachine wines are mellow. Drink an Alexis Lachine wine with any kind of food. Or anytime you feel like relaxing with a drink. Alexis Lachine, fine French wines.
A pleasure, Milton.
Welcome back, folks. Hopefully everyone's having a lovely time tonight. How is everyone? Hello, music. Welcome back. Let's see if we can't clean up our pans here. Still a little warm, and we want to hold on to it. Potatoes are pretty much ready. They've been brought up to a boil. I backed them back down in temp. So they're continuing to finish their cook. We got about 30 seconds left on our green bean casserole before it comes out here. So we'll get a place ready for that. I think I'm going to skip that. We're just going to pull it right out right now. Nice light golden color here in our green bean casserole. Got some nice bubbling going on here towards the bottom of it. Increase the heat on the oven here to 400. For our rolls, we'll give that a moment to come up to temp. Our roast is still feeling nice and warm. I'm not worried about that losing temp. As soon as we get these rolls in there, which the rolls are starting to have some weird bubbles going on. They're starting to have some like cancerous bubble growth. We've got weird bubbles here and there, over here on this side, one over there on that side. It says it's up to temp. Let's throw it in there. Why waste time? We'll give that 10 minutes and we'll start in on our mashed potatoes. Let's take a look at these, make sure that they're cooked here first. Because, I mean, we're sort of barely up to a boil here. Oh, these could use a little more time, I think. Where's just going to boil you full tilt here. Make sure those come up to a... They have been up to a boil, but we're going to make sure they're up to a full boil there. I think our green bean casserole turned out much better than the one that I had the other, for the canned green bean casserole. I think this is much more of a winner than that one. Turn that camera following back on. I'm tempted to just let this boil until the skins start peeling. We got about 8 minutes on those rolls. Let's try giving this beef a cut. Let's see what we got here. I just need to do this, I guess. I need to cut into this just to show how gorgeous this is. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Oh. Who doesn't want some of that? I am happy with that. That is gorgeous. That I need some more photos of this. I need, yeah. We need some more music going though. Why ain't you going, music? That's repeating the song. Let's skip that song. Okay. We're putting this back together and wrapping this back over with that foil just because we're not quite ready for it, but I had to do that. I just had to. another 4 minutes or so on our rolls. Grab a photo of our green bean casserole, or green bean bake, or whatever you want to call it. Potatoes are still not as cooked as I thought they would be at this point. Potatoes are acting like the yeast, like the flour earlier in my roux. They're not cooking as intended. Hey Ozzy, you made it. Don't worry about it, Ozzy. I'm not I don't expect you to be here every day. I don't expect you to be here first thing. Don't. I mean, anything that I have given you, any of the stuff that I put out there, is just what I would hope. I can't imagine that you would. I mean, I thank you so much for even volunteering. So we're just waiting on our rolls, which have got another minute and a half or so in the oven. We have some gorgeous looking beef here that I've already cut into and taken some photos of. We have some gorgeous beef here tonight. We got a pretty good looking green bean casserole, or at least my homemade version of a green bean casserole. Much better than the one from the canned green beans ingredient challenge. We're almost done with our potatoes here too. We're starting to look like we're almost there with them too. Darth. Hey, Mind Z. Welcome in. Happy Sunday. I'm worried these potatoes are going to take a minute or two longer than I wanted them to. I'm going to leave the rolls in there. The oven is off, so it's not actively heating them further. Corned beef and cabbage. Oh, I love me some corned beef. Cabbage, nah. Corned beef. I love me some corned beef. That is without question, of all the meals that I have had in New York, the delis were I mean, I ate at some nice places when I lived in New York. And, you know, Cat's Deli was pretty much the one that I remember out of all of them. Am I familiar with Chicago? I've been a couple of times. I haven't done much of the restaurant scene in Chicago, but I have had myself a proper Chicago dog. And I have had some proper Chicago wings. But, maybe? I've been to Chicago 5 or 6 times. Any suggestions? I don't know that well, depends on what you're willing to pay. Because, I mean, Alinea is in Chicago. But beyond that, I'm probably not going to give you too much in the way of recommendations. Alinea being Grant Achatz, who is a French Laundry alum, and for many years was the top-rated restaurant in America. Not necessarily these days, but at least at one point was very much that. Best style of pizza besides... Oh, why do you gotta mention Papa John's? Ugh. Chicago style is like... I don't think of Chicago style... I don't mind Chicago style pizza, but I don't like comparing it to other pizzas. It's like you're eating a pizza pie. Like an actual pie. Like it's thick. You know, it's more like lasagna than it is pizza to me. I'm gonna go with these potatoes if they're cooked or not at this point. Two-year wait list for what? We'll hit our potatoes with a bit more salt. I didn't add any salt or pepper or anything into it with our dairy yet, so gotta add that all in now. Add a fair amount of MSG, fair amount of black pepper. And we'll add in all of our cream and half and butter. Thank you for joining me, Lynn J. You've been hanging out with me all night. Appreciate your help out tonight, and thank you for the $5. Helping me out, thankfully, with that computer upgrade I'm doing. As it stands, we'll see. But I'm gonna tell you guys ahead of time. Next Friday, I might be postponing next Friday. We'll see. Might do Saturday instead of Friday next week. But I'm supposed to get all my computer stuff in here to upgrade this on Thursday. And hopefully it all goes smoothly, but if it doesn't, we're gonna have to plan for delaying Friday. Chicago dogs are, again, it's not something that I want to compare to a normal hot dog. It's its own thing, sort of, almost. But they're delicious, too. Making sure we got this well mashed now. Now see, every time someone mentions tacos, for some reason I think of this meme that I put in the meme Discord of, you know, if you have a taco in each hand, you can't touch your face. So, let me know if you need any more COVID tips. Our crust on our green bean casserole tonight is a combination of club crackers, chives, and Parmesan. We've got a bechamel in there, along with a whole bunch of cheddar cheese. I think that's looking lovely. Let's wipe off the blood. Let's grab some photos here. Oop, need the knife. Need my name in there. Oh, we could do some horseradish or something like that, or... I thought about thickening up this sauce on the stove, but it just doesn't look like it's gonna work. It's just got too much fat in it. It's gonna separate on me. But I thought about trying to turn that into a gravy. That is all deliciousness, but yeah, that's not gonna go on there. Let's try our rolls that I'm forgetting about here. We got some rolls. Hey, Makawaka. I can't even really hold on to these, they're so hot. So why are there two high emotes? Is there? Do I have them set for both follower and I only have one of them in mine. Oh, I guess I do have both of them there. One may be a follower emote and one may be a sub emote for you. I'm not 100% sure. Give it the Mickey Mouse treatment there. So thank you everyone for joining me, but I gotta go and enjoy this now. Let's give this meat a cut so everyone can see how tender this is, how beautiful this meat is. Butter knife. That's like some straight up prime rib or... yeah, that's yumminess. Thank you everyone for joining me tonight. Do we have anyone guiding the raid tonight? I haven't noticed anyone use that tonight. Otherwise, let's see who we have out there tonight. See if we have anyone we have pass things off to. If we don't have anyone, I'm going to start trending towards not hosting anyone if we don't have a suggestion, because... not because I just enjoy being able to go and enjoy my meal without trying to pass everything on. The steak in the Matrix. I know this is unreal. Not real. I know this is... But that's the amazingness. This is the amazingness of sous vide. Like, that line right there, where we have a nicely seared exterior with a nice brown to it, but it just goes straight to medium rare. There's no break there whatsoever. And that's what sous videing a steak will get you. It's Sunday. Let's see here. I'm gonna send all you lovely folks hanging out with me tonight. Go hang out with another lovely creator. Once my computer wants to start working again. Pretty happy with this wine tonight too. This is decent wine tonight. It's a nice cab. I know I didn't talk about it much earlier, but I'm happy with this one. I was a little questionable about it, but yeah, it's decent wine. Alright, I'm going to send everyone off to go hang out with Mr. Blake Harrington. The other gentleman that SoCal Aussie moderates to. Want to thank you all for joining me tonight. Going to be back here tomorrow night starting at 4:30, same time I started today. Going to be doing a rib steak with who knows what all else. I used all my mashed potatoes tonight, so I'll have to figure something else out for that. I hope you come back and join me for that. Wednesday, we got the ingredient challenge, and yeah, maybe computer upgrades, so maybe a delay to next Friday. Thank you for joining me. I hope you all have a great evening. Thank you and good night.